Hello, Morning Rush regulars. Welcome to tomorrow's show today. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'm looking forward to the weekend. One day closer by tomorrow. Now, tomorrow morning, early, we got to discuss something that you've heard a million times, so it must be true, right? If you hadn't heard it a million times, it would have never stood the test of time. No good deed goes unpunished. It's like the other day when I was running over to that car that was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to open the door to see if there was somebody inside, and it dawned on me, this thing's going to blow up. And I thought, no good deed goes unpunished. Stand by for the kaboom. This is going to hurt. Thankfully, that didn't happen.
Because it's not true, right? So it's not always if you've heard something a million times. But when it does happen, like you do a good deed, and then you attempted to do the good deed, and you get punished for it. Somehow the karma, the universe, the whatever it is, came and smacked you.
I was doing the right thing. I was paying it forward. Look what happened.
Yes. And those stories, for whatever reason, we take great joy in hearing those stories. You tried to do something nice, and it ended up costing you somehow.
Exactly. How did that happen? What were you doing? And then more importantly, what did it cost you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to do that. We're probably going to do that early in the morning. What else we got on the agenda here?
Well, we've got Generation Z
okay.
is replacing Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day will be gone in the next 50 years or so because Generation Z has no interest in it.
See, chivalry is already dead. Now we're going to lose romance in America.
Well, if you go to the Morning Rush blog at 975wcos.com, you'll see that what happens is that Generation Z, and in case you're wondering, is Generation Z the millennials? No, the millennials are older. So millennials are currently like age 26 and up.
Yeah.
Generation Z is like 25 to 15.
Grew up entirely on the internet. And
these people have different feelings than the millennials have on certain things. And one of them is Valentine's Day. They don't like it. 75% of them say they want it to go away. A matter of fact, the majority of the women say that they are going to celebrate something I had never heard of.
We're creating another holiday on top of Valentine's Day. What are we going to replace it with?
It's called Galentine's Day.
Galentine's.
Have you heard of this?
It's coming.
Have you heard of it?
No.
It was created back in 2010 on the TV show Parks and Rec, Amy Poehler's holiday.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I saw this episode.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they say that is what the ladies of tomorrow want. They want Galentine's Day, which is apparently for females only. It's women celebrating women, and it happens on February 13th.
It's like a Friendsgiving, but only with the girls.
I guess so.
Yeah.
So
you can plot against the guys. And what are the guys going to be doing? Playing online video games.
I guess not caring.
Not caring. Certainly.
Totally not caring about any of it. So if that's the case, I've heard for years people talk about, look, Valentine's Day is a made-up holiday. It's a Hallmark creation. It never existed. So they just came out with it in like the 20s and the 30s to create.
Well, what about
St.
St. Valentine? What about him?
Well, I'm sure he was he
was creative of Hallmark.
No, but they just figured out a way to make money off of him. So now they're going to have to go through their laundry list of other saints. You know,
exploited for love and money.
Yeah, exactly. So should we be getting rid of Valentine's Day? I've heard a lot of people complain about it, and maybe now is the time to kill it off. The next generation doesn't want it.
Well, it's been around for 10 years, so maybe you've already done away and you celebrate Galentine's.
And if you are celebrating romantic interludes, perhaps you would be happy to hear that the Peninsula Grill in Charleston, South Carolina has been voted one of the 10 most romantic spots in America.
Yeah, you probably missed your opportunity to get a reservation there for Valentine's Day about 6 months ago. You got to book that one well in advance.
But, you look at the other 10. I'm looking at Chicago, San Francisco, New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., another in Chicago.
None in New Orleans?
Something in Hawaii, Santa Monica. But here is little old Charleston, South Carolina. I sound like Dabo Sweeney.
Right.
Nobody expected little old Charleston to get in there, but we did.
Charleston's got some of the best restaurants, and you don't have to travel all the way to New Orleans when you get Charleston right there.
And have you been in New Orleans?
Yes.
It's like visiting a sewage plant.
Yeah, go there in the middle of August. Man, that smells good.
And I'll be honest with you, also not a huge fan. I shouldn't say that. I don't understand the difference. Maybe I'm not cultured enough to recognize the difference between the New Orleans beignet, especially at that one restaurant that I went to that everybody says you got to go there. They invented the beignet or whatever.
Right.
And then just going I could almost get that at the state fair. I feel like there's like
pretty close.
Very little difference.
I think it would taste better whatever you got at the state fair than the beignet. And that chicory coffee, people stand in line to buy chicory coffee. Do you even know the history of chicory coffee?
No.
Yeah, it's intended to taste bitter because it's chicory. It was coffee that was cut. So it's not going to taste like coffee. It's a cheaper version of coffee. But you stand in line to pay 3 times as much.
I feel like this is the scene where Jack Nicholson learns that the coffee was eaten by cats and pooped out or something.
You got to wash the crap. What was that? That's a great one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got the history on chicory coffee correct on that one. People are Googling it right now.
Maybe we could do another segment on things that you're not impressed with that everybody else is impressed with. I heard you talking about the chili in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Not impressed.
Skyline chili.
Not impressed.
That's what everybody was telling me. When you go to Cincinnati, you got to have the Skyline chili. Tumbleweed even said it.
Yep, you got to go there and have a 3-way.
Pardon me?
Okay. I was there with a guy. And I wasn't even interested.
Chili talk.
Yeah, I wasn't even interested in what's in the after the first bowl. And I'm like, people come here from miles around for this. Is that what they do? Yeah.
Philly cheesesteaks. I
was in a restaurant, had a great view of the stadium, which was about the only benefit to being in that restaurant. Not impressed with the Skyline chili.
I also was not impressed with Philly cheesesteaks and going down to Atlanta at the Varsity. Wasn't that impressed with the Varsity. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, yeah, you got it. Nah. It's the same as every other place.
But see, when people come here and we go, you got to get if you want Southern food, you want Southern hamburger, Columbia style, you got to go to Rush's.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says, "Nah, that wasn't any good."
What about the Beacon?
The Beacon in Spartanburg?
Yeah,
the same thing as Varsity. Tastes the same. You didn't miss anything. You wouldn't like that either.
Tumbleweed is like really upset right now. We're rejecting all of his notions of Cincinnati and the Varsity and wherever.
How did we get on this topic again? I forgot.
Oh,
we're wolfing around here.
Something you were disappointed in, and we've.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about New Orleans and what a letdown that was. But that could be another thing.
Okay.
We also have a story here. This guy is fascinating. His name is Joe Newman. Joe Newman got his driver's license before Clint Eastwood was born.
Clint Eastwood was not even born yet.
Think about
when this man first climbed behind the wheel legally, because I'm sure he was driving illegally prior to that.
Yeah.
Legally. He's had his driver's license for how many years now?
He got it before the Depression. Got it in 1929 before the Depression.
And he's still driving. I love this guy because he's staying active and he's got his fiance he rides around. But he's 100 and what?
He's 107. Right. He's the oldest man in America with a license. And people ask, are you too old to drive? He says, check my record, bro.
Yeah.
He threw in the bro. Check my record, bro. Check it. I'm out here keeping it safe. But he's got a Corvette convertible.
Yeah.
And he's having a big time down there in Sarasota. But
I do like the Corvette touch.
Oh, yeah. He looks, this guy's got a young vibe about him.
It used to be like in Forest Acres or wherever you live, the area where you have a lot of elderly. In Forest Acres, at one point, all the senior citizens drove Oldsmobiles, right? But those aren't available anymore. So now they're either driving a Toyota Camry or a Honda Accord. But if you're in Forest Acres and you see a Toyota Camry backing out of the driveway at like 2 miles an hour, that means get the hell out of the way. Because guaranteed, even that it's a smaller car, they can't see over the dash.
No, it's sad. It's sad. And there are some people who shouldn't be driving.
They've
gotten to an age. This guy's 107. He's still driving. He does a wonderful job with it. He says no accidents.
Well, Americans are living longer, and because of that, they're living a longer, healthier lifestyle, or at least we are living because of medicine for no other reason. Like my mom now, she's still driving. My dad's still driving. They're not 107.
Yeah.
But they're getting to the point where, they're still, you start saying to yourself, should they be driving? My mom was driving great.
I feel like we should have a conversation about how do you know when it's over?
That's the problem.
So, like, this guy, he has to get his license renewed at 2022.
Gotcha.
If he's still with us at 109.
Because they don't want to give up their freedom. I wouldn't want to give up my freedom either. Who wants to give up your car keys?
And I felt horrible about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. I was driving somewhere. And a lady, it was clearly her fault. She ran the red light. But she said she didn't see the red light. Everybody else saw the red light, but she didn't.
Gotcha.
She came through the intersection and hit me in the back bumper, took my bumper off, spun me around in the middle of the intersection. And, I get to meet her, and she's like 92, and she's crying because she has to take care of her daughter, who's like 68 or something.
Right.
Her daughter lost her license, but this is how they go grocery shopping, and this is how they do everything. And she's like, what am I going to, they're going to take my license away from me. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, lady. I mean,
thankfully we have Amazon now to deliver like canned goods, but still, I know in the state of South Carolina, you got to get produce. Where are you going to get that? Amazon ship produce? I guess they do.
I guess. Oh yeah. I mean, nowadays you can call the grocery stores,
right? But
and they will deliver. Publix. I got a friend who works for Publix, and that's what he does. He just drives around delivering groceries to people.
They got a bill coming up that allow that person to actually deliver wine or beer to your home.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be up for debate. So there, thankfully, but think about years ago. You had to depend on somebody. Well, now, do we have people that you're getting to that point where you got to have this conversation? I don't think I'll have this conversation with my mom. I think she's my dad's not going to give the keys, not to the tractor, not to the truck. He's not
even to the tractor.
No. But he'll, if need be, I guess he'd drive the tractor to the store, but he's not giving up the keys.
George Jones style.
And my mom probably would recognize it, although she comes from good stock. My mom has an aunt who drove from Greenwood, the Emerald City, all the way to Saluda. That's what, 30, 35 miles? Drove by her. She's 92. She drives to family functions all over the place. And she always brings 2 or 3 cakes with her. And I think I've gotten on to her secret. She'll bring 1 cake inside, but she keeps 2 more in the car. I think that's just so she gets stopped speeding. She'll give the cop a cake.
Would you like a piece of cake, Junior?
I think she's got cops that stop her because she knows they got cakes in the back seat. Stop that woman. Give me that coconut cake, lady. I'm going to write you up.
Well, we got lots of things we can definitely talk about tomorrow morning. And as you always say, give us a call at 978-9267. That's
reach out to us on social. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Or 978-WCOS is another way to remember it.
We have to do it because people say we don't give out the phone number enough. And also, if there's something going on you want us to talk about, maybe Gamecocks are excited about signing day.
Oh, my gosh. If Jordan Birch does not sign today at 1 o'clock with the Gamecocks, that's going to dominate the show tomorrow.
We're talking about that the entire time. And he lives here in town.
He went to high school with the coach's son.
Hammond.
And what's going on with him? You just told me that he's not going to play for Colorado State. Now he's going to try to be a walk-on at Georgia?
Yeah, Muschamp's son's going to walk on at Georgia. Gave up the scholarship money. I guess if you're Will Muschamp's kid, you don't have to worry about the scholarship.
But
money.
Why would you go with Georgia? I mean,
because his dad played at Georgia.
Best case scenario, you get to go head to head against your dad. Every year. You're trying to beat your dad.
That'll make it awkward.
You want to drive him out of his career? He's the one paying for this college since you gave up the scholarship.
Steel sharpens steel.
Yeah,
Muschamp versus Muschamp.
Go play for some ACC squad we don't face.
All right, so and if you got something going on you want us to talk about, reach out to us on social media. Give us your suggestions so we can talk about that on an upcoming show of The Morning Rush.